All right, welcome to another episode of Witch Hat Chats, sponsored by the Ever Moving We Rise, the Life and Soul Holistic Center, and Moonlight Potions and Charms. I am your wonderful, charming host, Nikki Kirby, and we are joined by our absolutely amazing, brilliant, my God, he is so brilliant. His name is Saul Ravencraft.
Oh my goodness, what to do with you? Hello, Nikki. Good to see
Hello.
you.
It's good to see you. How are you doing, honey?
I am wonderful. You were talking about all the snow and everything that is surrounding you. It's 61 degrees here in Austin, Texas, and it's just lovely.
Here is cold as hell.
And
Literally,
hell is
hell has
quite
frozen
cold,
over.
contrary to what people will tell you.
Well, you know what? That depends on your own version of hell.
This is
You know,
true.
some people think it's fiery, some people think it's cold, and other people think that if you get locked in Walmart, it's hell. So it doesn't matter what it is.
This is true.
All right, so we got a couple of announcements here. Ever moving we rise, we are having our in bulk ritual. And so, you know, you're always welcome, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes, we're going to have an amazing ritual. I wrote it yesterday. And so make sure that you bring your Bridget crosses because we're going to do some wonderful things with them. And on top of that, you can go to our Facebook page and be able to get the Zoom link. So we're also, this is coming up in a few weeks on February 13th, is our Goddess Lounge, which is formerly known as the Red Tent. You know, I decided to change it because everybody's doing red tents. So we decided to change it to the Goddess Lounge. What do you think about that, Saul?
I like it. I like it. I think anytime you change something to make it your own, that is a good thing.
Yes, and we're going to also, and I'm not quite sure of the dates yet, but we're going to have the Green Man's Grotto, which is the male green tent. We're going to have that. And we're also going to have a rainbow spa, which is for the LGBT community. And basically anybody can attend. Everybody's welcome, you know. So it's going to be for those. So those dates will be coming up. And I want to let everybody know that Moonlight Potions and Charms now has their own store on Etsy and Amazon. And so we've got so many new things that are just excited. I'm really excited to be able to do those. So, without further ado, Saul, I think our guest host is needs to be introduced.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and I'm looking forward to this. I work a lot with tarot, numerology, and that sort of thing, and I do deal with astrology as a part of my practice. We all do to some degree, but I haven't made astrology stick in my head yet the way that I want it to. And so I'm always fascinated by people who have internalized it, who don't have to look stuff up all the time, and are able to just work it as an art. And that is who we have with us today. He is an ordained priest. He is a master at astrology and uses it to create positive change for those he loves. He's going to share some wonderful stuff with us, and I think it's going to be uplifting and empowering. Please welcome our guest, Alan O'Connor.
Hello, Alan.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the great welcome. Master, I don't know about that. I mean, but, I know a few things, but trust me, I know astrologers that could take me to school. But thanks for the welcome. Thank you very much. you know, it's an honor to be asked to be on the cast today. You know, I want to talk about, you know, how we can use it. I'm going to try and keep it simple. I know we've got a lot of folks out there watching, some that do know astrology. And if you do, you'll probably understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. But for those of you who don't, you can keep it real simple. I'm going to just go into, you know, a few things I want to cover is first about all of you that are doing magic and they're like saying you should do magic under this moon and that moon. Well, there's a few things I want to tell you not to do. Okay, you know, as far as magic and astrology, because there are a few do nots. Now, when you have to do magic and it's something that literally has to be done, you got, especially with healing magic, sometimes you can't wait for the right sign or the right moon phase to do it under. But there are ways to get around that. There are really ways, and I'm going to show you a few things that, you know, you can get, and it's right on the internet, right where you can get it. I guess I'll just start off. You know, Nikki, where do you want me to start? I mean, you want me to talk about? I guess I was going to talk about the agent of Aquarius and some things that are coming up for 2021, but I also know that a lot of you out there are going to have questions about, well, how do I do my magic, you know, and incorporate this? And I want to talk about that too. So where would you like me to
I think
start?
the first thing that we'd like to look at, Alan, is right now we're in a position of transition in our world. And I think that a lot of people are not sure how to encounter this. Personally, I think they forget their own power. But they're not sure what lens to use to view this. So what does astrology tell us about our current time, and how do we encounter that?
All
Well,
right. Okay.
also, Alan, why don't you tell people why you use astrology? Because a lot of witches don't.
All right. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself first and how I got here. That probably might explain a few things. Um, I met I met a Cabot priestess at a fairy festival, or no, it was at a haunted brewery, and at the time she was, and basically she just touched me, and you know, I was thinking in my head, these people are great. You know, it was a fairy feast I went to, you know, and I said, these people are amazing. I'm thinking this. And she grabbed me and she's like, you're one of us. You're always one of us. So that's how I got to the craft. And from there and from that community, I met my eventual first high priest and priestess. And then through them, I met an Egyptian priestess. And then through them, I met everybody else in the whole community until I came to my current high priest and priestesses, you know, who have really taught me very, very well. I mean, you know, most of what I am is because of my teachers. So I always honor the succession of my teachers. But I'm part of a clan called Tome. Stands for Temple of the Ancient Mysteries. I'm a second degree priest in Tome. I have the title of Lord. I'm not a high priest, so that comes when I get my third. But what happened back in the 80s? My first wife got me into tarot, and from there I got into astrology, and I actually worked for the first psychic hotline in the country, and it was based here in Baltimore, Maryland, and we had great people working for us. And then, of course, it got completely, it became a business more than something that really meant something. But yeah, that's a little bit of my history. But I brought the astrological and the tarot knowledge with me when I started practicing magic. So I had an advantage there as far as I didn't know that you use that in witchcraft and magic. So I already had that knowledge when I dedicated to my coven. So that was a little bit of a bonus. So that's a little bit of my history. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about that. Our tradition, though, or I say our clan, we're not a tradition because the woman who formed the clan is still alive. There's a little difference. And in case anybody, I have a habit of teaching as I talk, but the difference between a clan and a tradition is when the person that founded the tradition, like Gerald Gardner, well, they're no longer with us. Alexander Sanders, no longer with us. They're a tradition. but you're still a clan if the person that formed your clan is still alive. Just figured I'd put that out there. All right. So, so I brought the astrological knowledge, and then as I was taught, I learned that, that you can use astrology. So that really got me excited. So we'll start with what's going on now and why it's happening. We are entering the age of Aquarius, and no one exactly knows when that has begun. Okay. We have approximations. Some people think it started in year 2000. More think 2012. Because an age is about 2,160 years. Okay, so that's a long time. I have a book here that I think is great. It's a friend of mine that I met. It's by Ivo Dominguez, and it's Practical Astrologies for Witches and Pagans. And he talks about the entrance to the age of Aquarius on page 185. So basically so I think the age of Aquarius really is coming now, okay? We don't know exactly because, you're talking about a long time, but it's really, really close. We know that things are changing. This Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that just happened last year on Yule, of all days, this was a thing that hadn't happened for 397 years, where they were conjunct in all three dimensions. It happens every 20 years, the conjunction, but not when they were completely lined up and, completely lined up where you could see them right next to each other in Aquarius. And it happened at 0 degrees of Aquarius too. That's very interesting because the beginning, it happened at the beginning of the sign of Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is all about humane causes. It's all, it deals with Aquarians, it deals with social issues. Okay, that's what Aquarius deals with. Okay, Aquarius wants to bring the best out in our humanity. However, it is ruled by the planet Uranus, and Uranus brings change, but it's always sudden. It's always unpredictable, and it can be upsetting. Okay, so we're going to change. Humanity's going to get better, but we're going to go through a hell of a storm. It's just going to be that way. So this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, when it was lined up for us to see, it happened 397 years ago, but it couldn't be seen because I think it was during the day. So you got to go back to the one before that, which was 800 years ago. So that's a long time. So we did some real powerful magic on Yule, I'll tell you that. And this was the time to manifest something, to grow, because that's what Jupiter is. Jupiter is growth and expansion, but to grow in a very sustained, practical way. That's Saturn. Saturn's like, you're not going to rush me. It's like, we're going to take our time. Those two planets are kind of opposites, but they can work together. Saturn can do some good things for you. It gets a bad rap, but Saturn will give you what you want, my friends. You just have to change. Just let the changes come. Saturn will tell you it's time. When it's time to let go of something, Saturn's going to let you know. And you know what? Let it go. And we always want to cling to things. We really do. And Aquarius is a fixed sign. We're not going to want to change because fixed signs don't like to change that much. They like to be set in their ways. So, don't be afraid. This new moon coming up, this one's a big one. This one is huge. This one, I think that this is the new moon in Aquarius. There will be 6 planets in Aquarius at this time. Okay, so our humanity, this is the time to plant seeds because you do at the new moon. This is when you start things. You plant your seeds, okay? This is the time to start something new in your life, okay? So let's talk about the age of Aquarius and what's going on. Well, basically, and I'm going to tell you some things, folks, you're not going to like hearing, but it's, understanding why it's happening will help you get through it. We as a society, in my opinion, and it's also in Evo's book and some other people's books. We're going tribal. We are going to be, like it or not, we're going to be separating into our own little groups. And once again, Aquarius rules the 11th house of astrology, and that's all about goals, wishes, and social groups. The groups that you belong to, your coven, the bowling league, the ladies sewing circle, whatever it is. You're going to feel more comfortable in groups where you find people that you agree with. Here's the key. When there are other groups that you disagree with them, that's fine. Learn to accept other people's differences. It's like, hey, we're over here, you're over there. That's all right. You're doing your thing, I'm doing mine thing, and we will. That's the key to getting through. And I know a lot of people, and we are going through some upsetting changes. We really are. But the planets don't care. That's just what the planets decide. That's what they're doing. We just have to understand that how they're affecting us. And we can use that energy to bring about some positive change to help us get through this. And,
I think it's helpful to remember the principle of polarity in this kind of thing. Opposites must exist. That's a universal law. Tops have bottoms. And when you try to eliminate your opposite, you're doomed to fail. And you're going to waste your energy and expend it in something that is unachievable. But if you can make your opposite more irrelevant to your own path, then that's where your real power happens.
That's a good point, Saul. That is a very good point. And you kind of like jarred my memory because I wanted to talk about something else. I, myself, since I started practicing, and I think the goddess called me to this, I always do moon rituals. Every full moon since 2012, I've just done a full, it's just ingrained in me. And what a full moon is, and people always think, oh, it's a full moon in, we just had a full moon in Leo. Okay. And that's all about, what's the moon in Leo? Well, Leo is about the lion. Leo's very regal. Leo's like, here I am. I'm proud. I'm the big, I'm here and I'm popular and I want you to notice. And that's what this full moon, is about, getting yourself out there, being noticed and, just being regal. And, that's what Leo does. However, what a lot of folks don't understand is a full moon is an opposition between the sun and the moon. The sun is shining on that moon. So the sun's energy also counts. So for a full moon in Leo, the sun is in Aquarius. So it's bringing the humane energy of Aquarius to your Leo side. Okay. So here I am, but I'm going to be a humane lion. Okay. I'm going, so exactly with the opposites. Anytime there's a moon in any phase, the sun is putting some kind of illumination on that moon, unless it's completely dark, unless it's new, when it's blocked out. And there's certain magic you want to do during the new moon phase and the dark moon phase before that. Okay. But that's something that, the sun, the sun sign is just as important, because that's what feeding, that energy is being fed into whatever the moon is. Let me see. So let me talk about what's going on in the age of Aquarius. We're going to see, and ages are over 2,000 years old to take. So we're just starting, okay? We're coming in like gangbusters. But this has already started even back in like the late 1980s. You can say almost half of the last century, because what did we had wars, we had social movements through the 60s. We're having a social movement right now. I mean, a lot is happening. So this didn't start, but you're going to see the breakdown of society. You're going to see that. Okay. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay. Everybody's just saying, well, we're reorganized. Look at it that way. We're all reorganizing. Okay. And it's not just in society, it's in religions. Look at what has happened. First of all, our religion is coming out of the shadows. Why is it coming back? Well, we were in the age of Pisces for the last 2,000 years. Okay. And Pisces is basically one whole, one whole cloudy ocean. We're all one happy family. And, pretty much for the last 2,000 years, it was Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, and of course you had some Eastern religions too, Buddhism, but now more religions are coming out. The old religions, and, and when I say old, I mean, I'm talking about Judaism, Christianity, you can watch, it has a lot of different parts to it. You have the Catholics, the Methodists, the Baptists, the Presbyterians, and they're even dissolving into, so everything is breaking down into smaller parts. We had countries, this will happen too. They will break down into smaller countries. Once again, that book I mentioned by Ivo Dominguez, Practical Astrology, he predicted this like 5 years ago. 5 years ago, he predicted a lot of this happening. I have a copy of a manuscript that was passed down to me by my high priestess, where a man who was part of Black Forest Coven, or it might have been a woman, predicted this back in 2006. It's like, wait till we get all this Capricorn stuff happening. So that's what's going on. We're going to see, and if countries don't break down, what happens is more authority is going to be given to local and state governments. And what has happened? What has happened with the coronavirus? It's like, all right, this state's going to do it this way, this state's going to do it this way. And then here within Maryland, the governor put out restrictions. Then everybody else, all the counties said, well, we're going to do this. And so, once again, delegating downward to allow, and that is part of what is supposed to be happening. We might not like it, but the planets don't care. Okay, but we will get through this. Okay, we will get through it. So basically religions, countries, maybe even corporations, they'll go after, look at what's going on in the stock market with the little guy GameStop. I'm sorry I had to mention that, but you're going to be seeing a lot of that. Okay, let me take a drink. My voice tends to get harsh and please cut in to give me a rest when you feel you have something to say.
While you're drinking, Alan, I do have a question about just dealing with astrology in general, because astrology sounds like the universe dictates what's going to happen and you just have no choice. The stars are just going to puppet your life. And a lot of people resist that because they don't want their life to be a puppet. But obviously that's not what astrology is doing.
Good question.
Help us to understand how to relate to astrology in this.
Okay. Astrology is the belief that the planets, and when I say the planets, that counts the sun and the moon, they're luminaries, but they count, affect our behavior. That's simply what it is, that they affect human behavior. Now, we are made of mostly 60 or 70% water. Mm-hmm. And we know the moon controls our tides. And so that's why when there's a full moon and it's close, we're going to act a certain way because we're mostly water. We know moon controls water. So that's why people act a certain way at the full moon. Now, the full moon only enhances how we are acting. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean always bad. If you're happy, you can be real happy. If you're not so happy, well, but astrology, it doesn't dictate. No, it doesn't. But it can affect our behavior. It can affect how we act. And the key is to understanding it a little better. We are always going to be in control of what we want to do. But understanding that, it's like I've done many readings for many clients whose their lives have been falling apart. Some of them are actually my students now. And once I explained to them, I'm like, oh, wow. I said, you've got a Saturn-Neptune conjunction going on here. No wonder you're going through hell. I was like, give it about another month. You'll be fine. Month went later. Like, well, once they feel better because they don't think there's anything wrong with them. After I tell them, I'm like, well, look at what's going on. And I look at their specific charts. And that's another thing. you'll see these astrological people, talk about what's going on. But each one of us has our own unique, specific chart. That's why you can have Mercury retrograde, which just started, affect one person and not affect another person at all. I was born with Mercury retrograde, so it doesn't usually bother me that much. But everybody is unique. So what happens, there's, like the Saturn Jupiter conjunction had an effect on a lot of us, in a way. However, in certain people's charts, it was probably something really good. In others, maybe nothing. In others, oh, it's a tough thing to get through. So it all affects us in a unique way. And I've learned to use certain planetary combinations and to look and to time my magic to it. But not all of us know astrology. So I'm going to try and keep it simple. But let me finish talking about the what's going on in 2021, because I know we're on a time schedule here. So I'm going to try and make this quick. The first big event just happened, and it happened basically on the 20th and the 21st of this year, of January. Most of the events happen quick. They happen early. And that was the Mars conjunct Uranus conjunction. And man, it hit me too. The urge, and what is Mars is your energy, and it's where you are confrontational. You want to be confrontational with Mars. Mars likes to use energy. Uranus is where you want to be free. You want to set your own rules and you want to break traditions. It's the breaker of traditions. So when Mars and Uranus get together, it's like if you're in a situation where you just can't stand it anymore, you're going to either blow and walk away. You're going to do something to get out of it. So the urge right now, a lot of us have probably been having an urge to break free of something, whether it's a partner that you're not getting along with, or a job you can't stand. One of my friends just posted her job is just really pissing her off. So I'm like, yep, I can see that. But the urge to be free, and different will be enhanced. That's going to, and we're still feeling that, although that aspect is really starting to wane now. So that should be wearing off. But you'll want to assert your freedom and break free of any limitations that are placed on you. That's what's going on. And that's kind of just started. That's ending now, but I just wanted to give perspective there. The next big one is the 14th of February, which happens to be like real close to the new moon that's coming up on the 10th, right after the new moon. And there's going to be a Saturn square Uranus aspect. Now, Saturn, that's where you're practical. Okay, Saturn rules time, and it likes to take its time. Uranus wants you to break free. Now, Saturn places restrictions upon you, okay? So the challenge is going to be to work within your restrictions, or do you break free of the restrictions that Uranus is going to want you to. So the key for that, it's going to be a time of great tension. So, I want to give it to you now. It's going to get a little worse, okay? We're all going to feel tension going into February. I know Valentine's Day, it's going to be a little tense. The key is to change without taking sudden drastic actions. Okay, so please think. One of the good things about Mercury retrograde, and it's still going to be retrograde, is Mercury, when it's retrograde, its energy is directed inside. It's more inwardly directed. It's a good time to think about what you want to do. What do you want to finish? Don't start anything new, but start making the plans for it. It's a good time to look inside. Good time, like you said, Saul, for the shadow work. Okay. Of course, there's also going to be, that big conjunction that had just happened. It's still going to be 5 planets in Aquarius. So once again, look inwardly. Where is your humanity? Because that's what Aquarius is all about. Okay. So this aspect, though, what it will do, a square is usually a challenging aspect. But if you rise to the challenge, great things happen. This will push you to make positive changes in your life. And that's a great thing. Tie that with the new moon, the magic you usually want to do at new moon is lay down foundations. That's when you want to start something new. So for you folks out there, the new moon in Aquarius is the perfect time for something new that is humane based. This would be the perfect time for you witches, you seekers, find that coven you want to join, because it's all about social groups. Be with the people that you want to be with. Make new friends. Lay down foundations for the goals that you want to have. What are your hopes? This is all 11th house stuff. Okay. This is big. I would suggest do some kind of magic for that.
The thing about it is, with Ever Moving We Rise, we're all about changing and bringing out our authentic selves. And we don't do things the way that most people do things. We actually encourage people to join other groups so they can learn more, make new friends, bring it back, teach us the whole 9 yards. With me, I don't turn down anybody versus because of your religion. I turn around and tell them, say, hey, listen, you have to find your own path. I will help guide you to that path, but it's got to be you to do the work. And so that sounds like exactly what we've been doing.
A great point. It's like talking about even in our community, even our community is like got like all. I mean, there are so many different sects of pagans now. I mean, that's Aquarius. I mean, there are so many pagans doing so many different. I mean, back in the 50s and the 60s, it was the Church of All Worlds, it was Gardnerian, it was Alexandrian. And now look at us. It's everything. I mean, we still have the Gardnerians, Alexandrians, but we've got Black Forest out there. We've got we've got there are just so many different so many different paths that people are going to. They're just everywhere. I mean, there's just so much. I mean, you've got Selena Fox, who I'm filling in for, so tough act to follow. I mean, she's an amazing lady. I have to say that. I have met her twice, and she is one amazing lady. But you've got everybody doing. So we are a very, very diverse community. But even now, we're breaking down into all these smaller, different groups, and that's fine. That is fine. I've got one or two more major aspects I want to get to real quick, because I know we've got a commercial break coming up. And this one's really good. Okay, so look for on that last aspect, the Saturn square Uranus aspect. That's going to happen 3 times. It is part of what is called a triple transit. You're going to have it happen. It's going to go past. Then it's going to retrograde back and happen going backwards. And then it's going to go direct again. So the first time is the week of the 14th of February, because these things are not exact. Okay. Then it will happen again June 9th to around June 27th. And then again from December 19th to the 31st of this year. We'll feel effects. So we're going to get that thing 3 times. 3 challenges will come. Okay. If you have an issue, deal with it on the first round, because the second time things get a little tougher, and the third times things get, face them, face your issues. And we're witches. We're good at doing that. Now, here's the good news. In July, things are going to get good. We're going to have Venus and Mars getting together, and that's going to be lots of love and lots of passion. Okay. It's a great time for passion and sex. So go have at it. But it's also a great time to put that passionate energy of Mars into what you enjoy doing. Okay. Venus is all about what you enjoy, what you love. If you love your job, wow, go to work and have a blast. If you love practicing magic, enjoy whatever you like to do. Mars is going to be there with Venus saying, yeah, this is great. Let's go. This is exciting. So, like I said, there's going to be some tough times, but even in tough times, good things can happen.
So it's going to be the summer of love, huh?
It's going to be, July should be the summer. It should, yes. Now, where that happens in your own specific chart is going to be of more importance. If it happens in somebody's fifth house, there's going to be some love affairs going on. If it happens in their sixth house, they're going to love work. Okay. If it happens in their seventh, they're going to love their partner, or they're going to look for one. If it happens in their eighth, there's going to be great sex, and so on. If it happens in their ninth, they're going to want to learn. They're going to want to, it's the spiritual part of them is going to really blow up and go out there, so they're going to want to travel, the night. So it's the summer. Yeah. July should be really, really good. Okay. Okay. Final thing is, and this one's really strong. We are having what is called the Aquarian Stella happen on the 10th of February. Once again, coming right up in about 2 weeks, right at the new moon. We're going to have 6 planets in Aquarius. That's big. What a stellium is when 3 or more planets get together, all in the same sign, all within a certain degree of separation. And what it does is pulls us in that direction. So, yes, the first 2, basically that second week of February, but even a little before that, a little after that, we're going to be pulled in this direction.
You're going in and out, honey.
Sorry. We will be pulled in that direction. There will be 6 planets. I forget, my mic is not the best on this computer. We're going to be pulled in that humane direction to make these changes, to get where we are comfortable, to realize our hopes and dreams, to be with friends, to make new friendships. All of this exciting stuff will happen. Okay. And it's all about a new beginning. And that's a big, so yes, new beginnings, and they'll see emphasis on the humanitarian issues. And pretty much I didn't have much chance to look even further, but those are the main things happening in 2021. So if we get through, February, there's going to be some challenge, but there's also going to be some good things. It's going to, but I hope I've been able to help you understand what's going to be affecting us. Now that, once again, like Saul said, and like Nikki said, we control our destiny. We are witches. We now understand that the planets are going to be pulling us. Okay. So do your magic accordingly. Okay. Do your magic. Knowledge is power. Being forewarned is being forearmed. And
astrology is much more about the context that we're living in than what's controlling us.
Yes, it's not really. I'm not going to say astrology controls us. It will affect us. We control us.
Mm-hmm.
It will have its effect. Now, there are some people that live and die by that, like this is what's going on and deal with it. I don't totally agree with that. It is what's going on, but we can make it work to our advantage. And after the break, I'll tell you some of the good magic, an example of the good magic that I did in a tough year.
Yeah, the thing about knowledge is it's not power until you put it in action. That's when it's really power. Knowledge is a good thing, but if you just keep it up in your head, honey, guess what? It's not going to help you one damn bit. Okay. And
Good
with
point.
that, Saul, what is our music break today?
Oh my gosh, that time went by so quickly. My brain is just overflowing, and I think a music break is exactly what we need right now. As you know, we always try to feature a pagan band or musician to remind us of all the wonderful pagan art that is being done out there, so you can bring it into your life. Tonight we've got today, tonight, wherever you are, We're going to have a song by a guest host who is going to be with us on Witch Hat Chat in May. This is a recent release, and the song is appropriately Star Maps by S.J. Tucker. Let's enjoy that.
Little points of light across a star map in my mind, and a flaming flame so bright it's still right here before my eyes. Hearts that stay connected over weary miles at a time give more than enough for me. We're pretty good, the lot of us, at blazing all night long. Even when we aren't feeling capable or strong. From far away you make me smile as easy as a song. Maybe this is all I need. But on these lonely nights I wonder, am I in your map of stars as well? Do you speak my name in happy stories, the ones you always tell? Am I that same affirming flame for you? Can you spot me in your sky when you need to? Can you see my firebird feathers shine through? Now star maps speak to sailors just the way you speak to me. It seems like any time we're face to face, there's more to see. Hearts that stay connected are as brave as they can be. But on these lonely days, I wonder, I wonder, I wonder, I wonder. Am I that same affirming flame for you? Can you spot me in your sky when you need to? Ooh. Can you see my firebird feathers shine through? Starlight, starlight. Here we are now, still shining. Little points of light. All of us just little points of light. Starlight, starlight. Trying to guide each other through the night. Keep shining, keep shining.
Love is in the air and luck is around the corner. At Moonlight Potions and Charms, our products are designed to help you embrace the power of your own magic. Our new arrival, the Bridget Blessing Spell Kit, designed to obtain the Celtic Triple Goddess's Blessing. Need love in your life? Our spell kits are just right. Our Voodoo Doll Love Spell Kit contains what you need to manifest love in your life. And don't forget, our Altar on the Go can be customized to fit your personal needs. There is so much more in our Wicked store to help you embrace the power of your own magic. So come on in to Moonlight Potions and Charms at www.moonlightpotionscharms.com and discover the wicked things that ignite the magical passion in you. When you start your day, do you feel energized and ready to embrace the day? Or do you not want to get out of bed, dreading the day ahead? Do you feel like you were born to do something more? Discover your life's passion and purpose at the Laughing Soul Holistic Center. Our 3-month coaching program, The Soulful Life, is designed to discover who you are at your core. Free yourself from the cage you allow others to place you. Create and establish a strong spiritual foundation. Discover your life's passion and purpose and align yourself with spirit as you emerge into your authentic self. So visit us at www.thelaughingsoulholisticcenter.com and discover how to live the soulful life. Curious about the authentic self? Unsure about your spiritual path? At Ever Moving We Rise, we can help you with those questions and so much more. Our name is our affirmation, as we realize everyone's path is uniquely personal. We are all about emerging the authentic self as we walk in alignment with spirit. We are family as we recognize our organization as a living, breathing organism. You are welcome to join us as we celebrate spirit and our authentic selves in our monthly rituals, events, and classes. Visit us at our website or Facebook page and discover what magically distinguishes us from the crowd. All right. Welcome back to Witch Hat Chats. Saul and I are talking to Alan O'Connor about astrology. So, Alan, I've got a question for you.
Go ahead.
You sure you're up for this?
Well, shoot.
All right. I am a Scorpio, okay? And when you think about the scorpion, you think about the scorpion in the desert, it being hot, stuff like that. Why is the Scorpio considered a water sign?
You know what?
I have no idea.
Well, the thing is, I can tell you more. I'm a Scorpio also, but first thing, when you're whatever sign you are, you're only that means you were only born with the sun in that sign. And what a lot of us don't realize is our moon sign and our rising sign are just as important. I am a Scorpio with a moon in Aries and a rising of Gemini. So what that means is sun's in Scorpio, that's where you shine. So I like to do things deep. Scorpio is all about probing deep and halfway. Okay. It's all about that. I mean, probing all the way. Scorpios make the best detectives. They want to know why. That's why you want to know why all the time. I just don't want to I want to know why I'm doing what I'm doing. My moon's in Aries. So your moon sign's where your emotions are, your emotional self. So my emotions are in a fire sign. That's why I get excited all the time and my rising is Gemini, and Gemini likes to communicate and speak. That's why my mouth never shuts up. So my wife always tells me I keep putting it in my mouth. My foot keeps going in my mouth. But basically, I'm a third of all three of those. So I'm really not a true Scorpio. Now, whatever your moon and your rising sign are.
I can tell you what they are.
Go ahead.
My moon is Libra, and my rising, guess what? Is Scorpio.
So you're 2/3 Scorpio. To see, you're 2/3 Scorpio. Wow. So you're going to package yourself like a Scorpio. Yeah. I don't know. It's like Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of the water bearer, but it's an air sign. Aquarius is an air sign. So you know what? Time to teach the teacher something. I'm going to find out why Scorpio is a water sign. I don't know.
And you let me know, right?
And Pisces is a water sign, but it's all about and the water signs are the three forms of water. Cancer is flowing water. Scorpio is the frozen form of water, ice. That's why that's why we're so cold sometimes. And Pisces is the gaseous form of water. Just something I thought I'd put out.
Yeah, the thing about it is, okay, on Facebook, you see all of these little words I'll put out. Okay, the Scorpio does this, the Aries does this, and blah 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 blah. And most of the time the Scorpio always gets the short end of the stick. It's like one of them asked the question, why are Scorpios so mean? And I put down, Scorpio, we're not mean, we just don't give a damn. I mean, there's there's a difference.
Well, the way I like to look at it, not all Scorpios are going to be the same. Not all Libras are going to be the same. It all depends on your unique chart. And, and of course, I know, that I don't want to get into, I want to keep things, I like to kiss things. Yeah. My first high priestess told me to kiss things. Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah. When you're writing a ritual, keep it simple, stupid.
So you're going in and out again, honey.
Sorry.
You're going in and out again. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I've got to stay back a little bit from the mic. Once again, computer issues. You can blame that on Mercury retrograde, because when Mercury's retrograde, the internet and the computers are going to go whack-a-doodle. Okay,
Oh,
but where was it? Okay, so once again, um, not all Scorpios are the same, because they might have a little Leo in them, a moon in Leo. They might have, but you're 2/3 Scorpio Libra. It's a good thing you got that Libra trying to balance things out, emotional, that can keep you, the moon in Libra will keep you emotionally balanced. Okay. But emotionally, you might have a hard time trying to make up your mind sometimes, but that will help you. Listen, before we run out of time, so I want to go over a few things about what our people out there how you can use astrology in a simple way to enhance your magic.
mhm.
Okay, now the first thing I want to talk about is something called the void of course moon. And what that is, that happens every 2.5 days as the moon gets ready to exit a sign that it's in. Because every 2.5 days, the moon goes through a sign. As it goes through each sign, it's going to form what is called an aspect with each planet. And they are certain angles, usually 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, and 180 degrees with other planets. And when the moon interacts with those planets, it gives those planets give the moon a certain flavor to what you want to do. Okay. Once it's done, and before it goes into another sign, once it makes that last aspect, goes into a void phase. Void, of course, meaning it's all alone. Okay. And what that means is it'll take on a hazy or cloudy nature. So if you do magic during a void moon, it may not work, okay, or it may work in a way you don't want it to do. So that period of void can be anywhere from half the day or almost a whole day to like 10 minutes, So this is one of the don'ts I'm putting out there. I do not recommend doing magic during a void moon. So you folks out there that don't know anything about astrology, so how do you know when the moon is void? Well, here's the first way. I've got something called the Llewellyn Witch's Date Book. And I live on the East Coast, and it gives all the moon phases and all this stuff. And it tells you when the moon is void, of course. But basically, you can look at each date and it'll say moon VC. I don't know, it'll say like moon. Here we go. Moon enters Pisces. Well, on that day, the void ends when the moon enters the next sign. So let's see, February. Where are we now? Today is Sunday the 7th. So the moon.
31st, honey.
Yep. Wait a minute. Oh, sorry. They're right. What am I doing? It's the 31st. Duh.
You just want to get that part over with. I know you.
So basically, if you look at here, it even tells you Mercury went retrograde at 10:52 last night, Eastern Standard Time. This book is everything's Eastern Standard Time. It takes in all the clocks going up and back. So if you can get one of these, this is a great thing to have. If you can't, then just Google when the moon is void wherever you live. Okay, just Google when is the moon void. There is something called lunariumuk.com that I go on. It's a site and it gives you everything and it tells you all of that. But it's for the United Kingdom, so you have to enter the city you live in and the country you live in. So that's the one thing. So if you can, try to be aware of that, my friends. Try not to do magic during the void moon. Now, one thing you do during the void moon is divination. Read the tarot cards during the void moon. I mean, that's what you want to do during a void moon. The site will come to do your pendulums, do any form of divination. Void, always best right before the dark moon. So anywhere from the last quarter waning moon to dark moon, I recommend that's the best time for divination. All right. So I want to talk about something called planetary hours and days. I was watching one of your other Witch Hat Chat podcasts, and one of the questions was, sometimes magic's got to be done immediately. I like to wait to a certain planetary time if it can and do it because it gives it a chance of working better. Sometimes you can't wait. Let's say, once again, let's say you've got to banish something out of your life and the moon is waxing, getting bigger. So when the moon's waxing, going from new to full, you want to do magic to bring to you. When it's going from full to new, you want to do magic to get rid of. That's when you banish all that debt out of your life, banish the, you know, banish the job you don't like, the person that's being mean to you, the sickness you have. Get rid of all the crap when the moon's going dark. Bring something good when the moon is getting toward full. There are something called planetary days and hours for that. So let's say I have to banish as the moon is getting full, even if it's the full moon and I've just got to banish something right now. Well, there are certain planets rule certain days. Saturn is all about banishing. If you want to banish something, you want to use Saturn. If you can do it on a Saturday, even if the moon is waxing, you can still banish on a Saturday because Saturn rules that day. Better yet, if you can do it on a Saturday at the planetary hour of Saturn, that's even better. And those happen, like usually every planet happens at least 3 times a day. Once again, Google planetary hours and days, and some websites will come up to tell you what planetary hour you're working at. So we'll say like 2:05 to 3:05 p.m. Then you'll get another window, maybe like 10:20 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. If you can do your magic during those times, then you're all right. Okay, so planetary days and hours, and it's not that difficult. Just Google it. You know, you've got this on. This will be recorded, I think. Just Google it. Go back and Google it. You know, there are plenty of books out there, but I didn't want to take too much time with that. So, yeah, basically, and certain days. You know, it's like healing is always done great. You know, if you want to heal, for instance, I'm going to use an example. Healing. Sunday is best for healing the physical body. Okay. But Monday is good for healing your emotions. Wednesday is good for healing mental health because Mercury is Wednesday's day and Mercury rules the mental facilities. And Friday, you having is all about Venus and love. If you've got some love problems, do the healing for love on Friday. So healing you could pretty much do any day, but it all depends what part of you needs to be healed. That's just an example. And another thing I do is, of course, I get into the details because I'm a Scorpio and I've got a lot of Virgo in me too. I've got this Virgo connection too, which I have an astrologer friend. Her name's Dorothy Morgan, and she's just amazing. And she just read me because I always have someone else read me because you're always biased when you read your own cards or your own chart. You're always going to see no. Let someone who doesn't know you that well read you. But she's amazing, and she warned me about a few things she saw in my chart that I didn't see. One was I was in danger of being in some accidents. So full moon in Leo, she says, do something to make your car more noticeable because I travel to my students a lot. I travel a lot to go to my students and teach them because I do in-person teaching. I just like doing that. There's nothing that replaces that. And I drive to Wilmington, Delaware to see my students. One of them is a medium. By the way, her name is Autumn Melissa, and she is a medium, and she is amazing. So check her website out too. But anyway, I did a spell to make my car more noticeable, and this was just about a couple days ago at the full moon. I also did a spell to make me more noticeable too, to get out to attract students because that's already happening. A lot of people are asking me to teach them, and I just don't. I'm doing the best I can, but it's not that. But it's exciting. I do enjoy teaching. But I did a spell to make my car noticed, just in case, just in case a possibility of an accident comes up. So I hope that works. It's like I'm pretty sure it will. I mean, it was snowing when I took my son to work today, and I almost had a little mini accident. I'm like, all right, I'm glad I'm being noticed. So. Yes. So once again, every moon phase, everything. And one of the final things I do is I line up a lot of correspondences. And a lot of you all have different knowledge. Every witch is different. Obviously I'm a star witch, but there's herb witches. There are pendulum witches. Every witch, I think, has their own unique strength. Now, I'm taught in everything, a little bit of everything. I'm a little bit of a jack of all trades, but everybody has something that they are really good at. Well, I like astrology. I like tarot too, but I like lining up correspondences and writing spells too. That's the fun part. And when you can match it to your own specific chart, great things can happen, my friends. I tell you. But once again, I'm very anal about the details. That Virgo part of me coming out. But I find magic very exciting, my friends. Once again, getting back to the times we're in, you can do really, really good magic, even if it seems like society is unraveling. We are witches. We have the power. Okay, you can do. I line up all these correspondences and I go into details, but the intention, once again, what all your teachers tell you about intention is right. That is most of it. The correspondences, lining up the herbs and the stones and the woods and the Jewish letters and the runes and the tarot cards, and I do all that. And if you want to see that, I have an album called Altar Photos, and look at some of the ritual albums. Under my albums, I keep my page public for people to look at because, like Nikki said, we should share what we should. I agree with you totally, Nikki. We should be sharing our knowledge. We're not going to get any stronger. We're not going to grow if we don't share. We've got to share what we know. Now, there are certain secrets you keep that you're oath bound, like don't out your coven members, but pretty much the knowledge you're taught, teach enough, but don't teach. The only thing I'm going to say about that is I teach in a way where I don't make someone I'm teaching dangerous to themselves. There are steps and levels. So I start with my students down here and then move up here and move up here. It's a little bit at a time with my students, but I teach them enough to get them excited. And I like to be with them when we're demonstrating it, when we're doing it in ritual too. So, I did an amazing spell last May. I needed to refinance my house because I was just I was literally throwing up every time I paid my mortgage payment. And of course, the bad times happened, the market went down. And I was like, well, this is the time. There's another point, one of the real big final ones I want to make about magic, you can do, once again, you can do, magic. We're witches. We do magical workings. And what that means is we're going to put some work into our magic. But it's a mixture of the magic working and then following up in the mundane world. Okay? The mundane part. I know I wanted to refinance my house. The issue was I was underwater years ago. My house went from 30,000 equity to 30,000 in the water. And of course, I couldn't get a loan. I couldn't do nothing and I literally just had to pay this mortgage, which was at 6.89%. And it was like $900 a month. 800 went to all fees. I was sick. Well, I started in the mundane world, went to the bank and started the process. What I had no control over was, would the appraisal come in at what I needed it to come in? That's what I did the magic for. I lined everything up. I lined it up in my chart, in my wife's chart, and then I did the magic because she's part of this. She owns half the house, and luckily my wife has the same house cusp within 2 degrees all around. So we are really a good match. I mean, it's like we both have Aries moon, Gemini, right? Everything exactly the same, as far as, even though we're born 4 years apart. But I lined it up and the appraisal did come in just a little under what I wanted. But what happened is I wiped out 13 years right off the house, just refinanced at 2.75%. And just like that, $169,000 worth of debt just vanished. So You can do great magic, my friends. You have the power. Okay. Even in bad times, good things can be done. And we're just going through changing times, not necessarily bad. So I think do you have any questions, Saul and Nikki? I think that's about. I just wanted to cover a few things with folks that don't know too much about astrology, but just basic stuff. If you want something to bring to you, try to do it between the new and full moon. If you want to get rid of, between the full moon and the new moon. Divination at the dark moon when it's void, of course. Planetary days and hours, Google them. And you don't have to have 1,000 correspondences, even if you have one, even if you know what herb to use that goes, for instance, healing. Peppermint would be good. It would be a good herb. Healing, I use rose quartz. I use the stones I have. I don't have the best ones, but I use what I have. Once again, in another one of your podcasts, that lady was talking about substituting when she didn't, and I thought that was a great podcast. I thought it was.
So, Alan, let's say that someone wants to bring astrology much more into their practice, but it's overwhelming. If you've ever seen a natal chart drawn, it's like a technical diagram. Where would you recommend someone begin? What kinds of things should they get under their hat first, so that they can begin to use astrology in their practice?
Learn what the sun and the moon do. They're important. Learn what your sun and moon sign. Learn the symbols if you can. Learn what the symbols are for the planets and what the planets represent. Learn the signs and the 12 signs, and just a basic 1 or 2 word meaning of what each sign is. Aries, I am. Taurus, I have. For us Scorpios, I desire. Yeah, we want things. Scorpios desire. That might be one of the reasons. Sign of sex. Taurus is just love, or not only just Tauruses, but people. What I say people with a certain signature, like my son is a Libra. He has 6 planets in Scorpio. He's more of a Scorpio than anything. The poor Libra, I don't know where that his son's in Libra, but man, everything else is in Scorpio, including his moon. And the moon doesn't like it in Scorpio too much. But learn the signs, learn the houses, okay? It can be overwhelming, but once you know what the glyphs are, you can say, okay, my sun is in the 2nd house. So I'm going to shine in the area of my value system. So I'll make money. How will I make money? Well, if it's in Taurus, it'll be in a very practical, way. Okay. And Tauruses like to hold on to their money. They are tight. My brother's a Taurus and he's got lots of money and he's tight. He's really tight. But that's just one example. The best way, I'm going to give you an analogy, and I learned it from an old book back from the 80s. The planets are the actors. Okay? They are the actors. The signs are the roles that the actors play. The houses are the settings that the actors play their roles in. And the aspects, how the planets are relating to one another, are how the actors play those roles. So, for instance, okay, let's look at me. My son's on the cusp of the 5th and 6th house, but I have Mars in the 2nd house in Cancer. So, let's use my moon. My moon's in Aries in the 11th house. So, moon's emotions. So, emotionally, okay, I am very excitable. Where am I excitable? In the 11th house. In social groups. That's where I get most excited at. My friends, emotionally, I'll even admit this, even though I'm not going to let my wife hear it. I sometimes am more connected to my friends and my groups more than my wife. I spend more time with them. All of my students are women, and my wife is pretty cool with it, and I'm very lucky about that. I do have a few possible male students coming, but yeah, so my wife is understanding very much about that.
And
You
you
know,
do
so
understand this is being recorded, and she can probably watch this too. So you,
actually, my wife is legally blind, but she hears everything. So I have no doubt that she's in the next room and has heard every word I said. And when the podcast is over, I am, if you see me on Facebook in 10 minutes, that means I'm still alive.
well, you can
Good
always
sport.
do a banishing to banish those feelings.
If you look on my Facebook page, she's got this smirk on her. She's the Elven Queen. You know, we like to do cosplay, and we like to go to fairy and Renaissance festivals. That's our fun. So, and we definitely like to dress up Lord of the Ring type things. She makes a great Galadriel on Arwen. So yeah, I think you know, that's any other questions?
Well, let's say that you're trying to do your own chart and you can't seem to understand it. Where would you start to try to learn, your own chart? Because a lot of people, when they go into astrology, they want to learn about themselves. The first thing.
Okay, first house. Look at the chart is lined up. You know, first, second. Well, let me see. I have a little book here, Astrological Charts and Records. Everybody I've read in here. And back in the 80s, when I first started doing this, we didn't have computers. You had to cast the chart by hand. You're talking about 3 hours worth of mathematical calculations. I still know how to do that, but it's a lot of work. But, okay, I'll use me as an example. Let me find myself here. So
And
here I am. Here's the chart. So I hope you can all see that.
it's kind of blurry.
All right, can I?
No, pull it back a little bit. There you go.
All right.
See
So
most of it now.
this is the first house. It's beginnings. It's all about. Let me see. Yeah, yourself, your outlook on life. You would look to see if anything's there and what the sign is. I say so. The numbers are just what this means. My rising sign is 20 degrees Gemini, 10 minutes. Okay, basically Gemini. Okay, nothing in my first house. Well, that doesn't mean there's nothing to me. It's just my planets are all the way over here. See, here's my sun. I've got it in the 6th house, but it's 9:35 on the cusp. The sun was 9:34:57, something like that. Or some charts have it in this house. We've gotten to the point where we can really get but how you read a chart is you look at the outside. Okay, you go around the outside. There will be the symbols for the planets. Okay, that's Uranus, that's Mars. There's Pluto, that's the north node, Neptune, then the sun, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn. And there's my moon all by itself over there in the 11th house. Then there's going to be a number. Then there's a sign. This is how you read this. So moon was at 21 degrees Aries, 43. So basically moon, Aries. Okay. In what house? This house. So what I do is I write what the houses are on my personal charts a little bit. And of course, this house is about your, let's see, your hopes, the love you receive, social groups, and the unexpected. So there's a lot of emotional, unexpected things that will happen in my life, and that surely has been true. But that's how you read your chart. So it's going to be moon in Aries in the 11th house, and here are the numbers. See, so the house go 1, they go all the way around with the inner wheel to 11. That's how you read it. You just need to know what each planet. So learn what the planets mean, and learn what the signs mean, and learn what the houses are, and write it down outside the houses. And because in a lot of the charts, the settings are not written down. That's why I do charts. I'll take a chart off the internet and then I'll write it down on this, because when I go and do a chart with someone, they can look at their chart and they're like, oh, now I see, because this house means this. This is happening here. That's the way I like to teach. I like to show people why, what is happening. And once again, Nikki and Saul, you're big on the, I cannot stress the importance. And this is the way my high priest and priestess have taught me. Always know why you are doing what you are doing. Yep. Why do you call quarters in ritual? Why do you have a magical name? All kinds of things. You've got to know the whys.
That's true.
So has this helped a little bit, as far as how to read a chart, so.
Yep. And I got one other quick question. Because I've been told by various astrologers that your chart changes as you grow older. Is that true?
Your birth chart does not change. What changes is the planetary transits, okay? And there is a lot of different kind of astrology. Now, my friend, who I mentioned, Dorothy Morgan, she gave me a reading and she was showing my solar chart and my progress chart. Those are totally different things. And in my progress chart, my Saturn and my Jupiter are right on top of each other in Capricorn. That's so we just had this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. And in my progress chart, Saturn and Jupiter conjunction. I mean, major stuff was going on. I mean, she was excited to read it to me and I was excited. And of course, I understood a lot. Of course, she's way up here when it comes to, I've been doing astrology for like almost 30 years, more than 30 years. And I don't know squat. And that's just how much, that's just, once again, that's how intimidating it can be. Mm-hmm. I don't know squat. Everybody thinks you're telling me you know all this. I'm like, trust me, there's way too much to learn. You won't learn it all in this lifetime. You really, really won't. But your progress chart does change and your solar chart does change. I don't know too much about them. Although I do know the progress chart is progressed one day for each year of your life. So, and that's how that is. That I think is what the progress chart is. But so your natal chart never changes. No. The planets that go now, as the planets go around, through the universe, and orbit, from our perspective, they will go through, they will transit houses, certain houses in our charts, and they will line up against some of our birth planets, where the planets were at birth. Mm-hmm. So when a transiting planet goes over where a natal planet was in your chart, something's going to happen, okay? Or you're going to be affected in some way. Last year, was it last year or was it 2019? It was 2019. I had a triple transit Saturn return. So let me tell you, that was a doozy. Your Saturn return is probably one of the most important things that happens in your life because it matures you. It happens at 29 and then anywhere between 58 and 60 years old. And both of those are where you really are going to mature. You're going to let go of things that don't serve you. And it can be painful, but it will give you what you want.
Can it happen before that time, though?
No, it will only happen every 29, approximately 29 years. You'll get a third one if you live to be 87. But usually when you're 87, your life's pretty much winding down and, the effect won't. But you'd be surprised. People might be living into their 100s. Medicine is constantly moving forward.
Okay. And one last question. Where can our viewers find you?
All right. I am like not the most tech savvy person. Find me on Facebook. I keep my page public, so you can see basically everything. I got a Gmail, and it's I will spell it out for you. It's gothiccatster@gmail.com. So it's GOTHICKATSTER@gmail.com. I'm a very busy man, but I always try to respond. I check Facebook every day. I'm always on Facebook. I check it just for messages and stuff. So I do keep the page public. So, feel free to look at my albums. I post magical stuff every 2 weeks, I post a full moon and a new moon post. And you'll see that one if you scroll down my news feed, the last one for the full moon. And on these posts, this is how I was like, how can I give back to the magical community that's given so much to me? So I give my knowledge. Okay, so what I do is I put, and it's mostly for the witchy people here, when's the best time to do certain magic. Every moon is different. Okay, now the next full moon in Virgo is going to be all about the details. Okay, it's going to be all about great time to do that full moon in Virgo. I like it for doing money magic through your work, do magic for a new job, do magic for a new pet, or do magic for your health. It rules health. If you've got health issues, the full moon in Virgo. If you've got hidden health issues, even more so, the full moon in Virgo will bring them out, and so that you can have them looked at, so doesn't mean, so that's the full moon in Virgo is going to be exciting too, because, it's the sun's in Pisces, and Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune hides things. Everything's hidden in the clouds. That's what Pisces is. It's hidden in the clouds. So do that kind of magic, bring what's hidden out into the open. Let the sun shine on that moon out into the open. So,
All right. Well, I want to thank you for actually coming onto the show. You were awesome, Alan.
I
And
was
I'm
nervous.
sure, well, I'm sure you'll return onto the show sometime. And with that, I want to say bye.
Farewell, friends.
You,
Saul, nice meeting both of you. Nice chatting with you. And my friends, good luck with your magic. We're going through changes, but we'll get through. Do your magic.
well, you continue to inspire yourself and others. And we will chat with you later. So have a good one.
Farewell. Farewell.
All right. And with that, we are going to the witch's cabinet today. So on today's witch's cabinet, we're going to learn about the Triquatra and the Trinity. Two Celtic symbols that are often found in Bridget's lore are the Triquatra and the Trinity. Both symbols consist of three intersecting arcs that look like Pisces. In addition, the Triquatra contains a circle that interlaces around the three arcs. The Triquatra represents and honors the triple goddess in her three forms, maiden, mother, and crone, signifying the life cycle of a woman as it relates to the phases of the moon. The cycle signifies their connection to one another. The Trinity symbolizes land, water, and sky, or air, water, and earth. It is also known as a rune of protection. In Christian religions, the Trinity represents the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. In modern times, the Trinity can represent anything that consists of a cycle of three: the life cycle, which is life, death, and rebirth; the passage of time, past, present, and future; the family, mother, father, and child; and so much more. So today, I'm going to teach you how to make a triquatra out of pipe cleaners. So you will need 2 pipe cleaners and a pair of scissors. And what you want to do is you want to take both of those pipe cleaners and you want to fold them in half, and then you want to cut it at the center here. And then fold it, this one in half again, as you want to fold this one in half again. Okay. Now with this one, what you're going to do is you're going to take the edges here and you're going to twist them. 2 bent edges. You're going to twist them together, and then you're going to form an archway like a little fish right here. So there you go. There's that one. And you're going to do the same with the other. You're going to twist the ends here. And then you're going to form a little archway like that again. on that one. And with the second pipe cleaner, you're going to bend it and fold it, and you're going to cut it. Then you're going to take one and bend it again, like this, to the ends. And then take it, and just like a fish. Okay. So you want to take your first two ends, and you want to put them together. So you want to kind of bend them around together the way they look like that. Your second one, we'll put that on top, and you're going to form the same thing. Bend the top like that. So there you go. There's a Trinity. Okay. Now with your other one, you're going to kind of turn it in a circle here. So you're going to weave it in and out of this. So we're going to start at the top, weave it in, weave it out. You want to maintain that circle as much as you can. Weave it in, weave it out, until you get back to the round thing here. And then you want to place them like on top here, like this. And you want to kind of read that around here, together, like that. Well, it doesn't want to hold for me. There we go. There we go. Okay. There we go. There. So then you go around and kind of make the shape a little bit round like this. And there you go, your Triquatra. Now, if you want to, you can decorate this with a little charm right there, for it. You can place some protective oil on it, which is what I'll do. And voila, place it on there, and this would be great to put on above your altar, above your bed, anywhere that you would love to have protection and the magic of the Celtic goddess Bridget. So that is how you make a Triquatra from pipe cleaners. That looks absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much. And, let us know if there's something else that you want us to be able to do. Go on our Facebook page and let us know, okay? Thank you, and you have an absolute fabulous day. All right. That was awesome. So?
Hang on. There we go.
There we go.
Having the technology day.
Well, you know what? It is Mercury Retro, so there you go. You can blame it on there. There.
But that's just context. I'm still the wizard.
That's true. Well, that was awesome. What do you think?
Oh, Alan was spectacular. I always enjoy talking to people who really are very comfortable in their place. Cedar was that way. You know that you can talk to her about herbs and oils up and down one way or the other, and she can just be there. And Alan is the same way with astrology, just so comfortable in that space. And while he says he doesn't know everything, and who does, he certainly is someone that could comfortably help you understand and figure out what to do with the information. So great guest.
And with that, that's all for our show today. Tune in next week when Saul and I will discuss diversity. That should be a very interesting topic. And we want to thank our first responders, essential workers, and medical workers for all your passion, dedication, and what you do in this fight to win in this pandemic. We also want to thank all the other um, first people that are on the front lines, like our postal people and our people in grocery stores and retail stores, things that we absolutely need. So we truly do appreciate all of you. So thank you, Saul. And everybody, please wear a mask, maintain your 6 feet of distance from one another, and keep your fuzzy babies, your family, and yourself very, very safe. And make sure we test negative, not positive. And have a good one.